You guys ready? Okay, you guys be quiet, okay? While I do my thing, while I work my magic. You guys ready for me to work my magic? I forgot how I do the opening. You're listening to the Drinking with Friends podcast with Dan, Ben, and Mark. This is the Zoom edition of the show. This is season 3, episode 5, the streaming episode, which is crazy because we're
Because we're
streaming
streaming.
live now.
Go figure.
Go figure. And we're going to talk about streaming. And we're streaming while we
Yes,
talk about streaming.
we're going to be talking about streaming services, how they've changed from the inception to
My
services now.
God. What the?
I'm feeling it from here. Oh my God. Oh my
Oh,
God.
sorry. All
Oh my
right.
God. It's
Go,
force
Benzilla.
10. Hurricane winds. A snot projectile just flew by.
Hurricane Kylo Ben from the Death Star.
Brought to you live from the Death Star. It's Kylo Ben.
Ben is drinking the juice of Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar juice. Ew. It looks like it's got balls in it.
Ew.
Collection of Jar Jar eggs.
Frozen grapes inside a warm wine makes it cool, and then you could eat the grapes when you're done.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
yeah,
Sounds
it's
good,
nice.
Misa like that idea.
Mm.
Dan. Yeah. So, um, we started discussion earlier this morning, and Mark and I were thinking of topics, that we could all really have some experience based on daily life. And we came up with the topic of streaming because initially, when we subscribed to streaming services, it was very limited as far as content and also quality. And as time has gone on, the content has increased, the bandwidth, which was a big problem back in the inception of these services. Like, for example, we had pay-per-view, and there were very limited choices as to what they were offering.
You
It's
mean
kind of
like when streaming
evolved.
was a baby?
It's kind of evolved over time. And with that, technology has really helped it grow and to develop into what it is today. Now, originally, when you signed up
Is a
for a
big
service,
bag of dicks.
yeah, when you signed up for the service, you were guaranteed whatever they were promoting. For example, no commercial interruption. Everything was
Well,
made accessible.
which was the first streaming service?
Pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Well, you could consider everything was streaming because it's coming over the air stuff. But I don't know so much of pay-per-view, but I don't know if we want to discuss like all the history, but if we wanted to, we can. But I was thinking more keeping with just the ones that we know today, like Netflix.
Well,
How did Netflix start?
remember, it wasn't Netflix a service where you bought or rented a CD or
You rented DVDs,
DVD?
and they dropped that shit off in your
mail them
mailbox.
back, and
Yeah.
you could get two at a time and then mail them back and all that. I used to subscribe to that.
Yeah, which is crazy when you think about how that service started and what it is today. It wasn't
Right.
even that long ago.
It changed because of the technology.
Right, a lot of the technology, but also COVID. Once people couldn't start going out, COVID just kaboomed all these apps. And everybody started to, then we started to get new terminology, binge watching,
Well, yeah,
all that stuff. So, we're jumping ahead, but,
What do you mean we?
he, you,
You're jumping ahead.
not
let's stay
only
on track.
was that, but people started working from home. So I think even before COVID, internet access was way better. So
It
now
was
you can
before
support
COVID.
multiple things. You can play games online.
But
And all that.
pay-per-view
With that said, you can now have video streaming.
pay-per-view was not streaming.
It was on cable.
Pay-per-view was on cable.
It was on a
Well, it was
You
cable.
a
got
It's
all of
still
your channels and all of your TV,
true,
that's right.
but it
So
was
which was not streaming. It was delivered to your home over a
okay.
wire, over a cable.
All right.
Not streaming.
Yeah, but
Well,
the still thing is happening today. Netflix and everything, that's all coming over the wire.
Right, but in a much different way.
yeah, because of technology.
Digitally.
So we were talking about the concept and how it began, and basically it's all technology driven
Right. Yes.
because we used to go to Blockbuster, rent the VHS tapes. Then we went to Blockbuster and rented DVDs.
DVDs. Yeah.
Then the whole technology changed, and we're not actually buying the item. You're streaming it now.
Yeah, but Dan, when you used to go rent, you used to rent flip books and watch the movie
I used to
like the
rent.
animation.
I used to rent window space in my neighbor's house so I could watch through the window what they were watching.
Hmm,
Because we were growing up in a poor neighborhood, so you had
right.
to do what you had to do.
We
Yeah, but
used
you got to
to,
watch the stars because you didn't have a roof on your house. So you always got to
Right.
look at the stars every night.
Like when it rained, the cardboard would get really wet and drop down. So my refrigerator box house, you had a sunroof, then you had a moonroof. It was pretty cool, but
Yeah, no, that was good.
pretty bad. Anyway, so getting back to the topic, um, I guess we'll focus on what's going on now, not giving a big history of streaming and all that, but the services that are provided now, they are very engaging and they're very, very tailored to specifics based on algorithm and customer behavior. So a lot of these companies now are producing their own, um, I guess, their own product. In other words, they're making movies, they're making TV series.
yep.
Um, what makes each one unique is, I guess, their ability to produce original content versus licensing already established movies and TV shows, which there's a big market. But the confusing thing is how it changes from service provider to service provider because there's contracts with an X amount of time that they'll be able to show exclusively, let's say, uh, shows from NBC or ABC. And then after that term expires, now another company bids for it. So you're subscribed to certain channels based on what they provide at the moment. And that's fine. But another thing that they provide is original content. So that combined with the option to get whatever they're licensed to provide
You
to
know,
you,
cable services were the same way, where you could lose channels randomly and not even know it because of contract disputes between the network and the service provider.
it just
Right.
happened with
Or YouTube, right?
no, with
YouTube
Optimum,
TV.
with
Oh,
sports
Optimum.
networks.
Yeah, well, there was something that almost happened from YouTube TV, but I
Almost.
guess it was avoided. Or no, actually, I did get a notice that some channel was not going to be on my YouTube TV anymore. Something I never watched, but that was when you started to have these cable services. You could definitely lose channels. You could lose channels like ABC. Like Channel 7 could go away because they had disputes or whatever over contracts, or you could lose your favorite show because this channel would no longer be carried on whatever your cable service was at the time.
Yeah.
So I answered my own question with the most powerful computer in the world that I have in my pocket. And it says Real Player, Real Audio Player in 1995 became
Yeah.
Real Player and streamed video and audio over the internet. So that
Hmm.
was technically the first streaming service. But obviously, they didn't have a lot of stuff. But that was in 95. And by 2000, Real Networks had 215 million users and losers.
But it's gone.
Right, right. But they lost my market share to Microsoft and others. TV Online was in 2003. That's right. There were services where you could watch television on your computer way back then.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. And then I guess YouTube is probably the first video streaming service where you can watch videos on your computer completely digitally delivered to you. And then in 2007 was Netflix when they debuted their streaming service after, yes, sending CDs or DVDs to you in the mail and games, right? Because I think they did
Yep.
games
They used to do
Yeah,
also.
that
games
was a
too.
big part of their business.
very, very cool. Yes, because I used to rent those games. There was also another service that sent you games in the mail. I forget what it was called.
Was it Redbox?
Red boxes. What I don't. I think you
Drove
go
up
to
to 7-Eleven and
7-Eleven for
grabbed
that
it.
one.
It was like
Yeah,
you put the money, your card in, it would
yeah,
dispense the movie you wanted, and then
Was
you
there
bring it
another
back
one?
and put it in the box, I guess.
yeah. And that was after Netflix was doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slingbox, Apple TV in 2007, Hulu, and Roku in 2008. So really early 2000s, in the first decade of the 2000s, is when we started getting all our streamers.
Right, and that's when we first started seeing the iPod and then the iPhone around the same time.
I used to have a video iPod.
Yeah, or the iTouch.
Yeah, the iTouch. Yeah, I
And
remember watching movies.
Yeah.
Movie I watched.
didn't
I
didn't
I
Phil
watched.
remember
build his
doing
own
some
device as
computer
well?
work,
I
and I was given an iTouch because
excuse me. I was in the middle of a sentence.
go
One of the first movies I watched on my little what the hell was that thing called? The iPod Touch with the
iTouch.
screen. What was that ping pong movie? Ping pong. What was the name of that that ping pong movie?
You got to
Balls
give
of
us more.
Fury?
The comedy. It was a comedy about
Balls
ping
of
pong.
Fury?
Balls of Fury. I watched
Oh,
that shit oh my God, that's crazy.
How
I
the hell
watched
did I
that shit
remember that
on
one?
that little tiny iPod Touch
Hmm.
because you were able to do that then. And it was the coolest thing ever.
Oh yeah.
But I think at that point it was downloaded. You can download movies to your thing and then
Yeah, and it
watch
would
them.
eat
So
up
that
all your
wasn't really
storage.
streaming.
yeah. With that, you had to hook up to iTunes, and you could download and set up everything in there. You could rip
That's
movies yourself.
right.
That was a big thing. So you could take a DVD, put it in special software, will make it into a computer file for you, and
Yep.
then upload it to your.
And then all the pirating services and everything that happened at that time
Hmm.
as well, because people didn't want to pay for it, and you get it for free.
LimeWire.
Right. So not even that. Do you remember going into the city and buying the DVDs of the movie that just came out on Thursday? You could get it Friday morning.
And had Russian
So
subtitles.
yeah, so that, like you were saying,
Yeah, and it
all
also
of a
had
sudden
people getting up
became
to get
the
popcorn in the middle of the movie.
online services. What is the there was one that begins with a K that was really popular.
Killjoy?
Okay.
I can't remember it.
Was it 3Ks in a row, Ben? You
No.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, it was funny because my buddy used to always, whenever those guys came around with the DVDs, he
Yeah.
would always buy a few from the guys, right? And he had small kids, so I guess he would, do movie night. But he used to tell us that people would be getting up in the middle of the movie, like
Oh
walking
yeah.
across the screen to get popcorn, because these were just pirated, like taken right from video cameras right in the movie theater.
I was watching one of those,
A bootlegger.
and the person was sitting on the side. So I'm on my treadmill like this, trying to see if I can see it better. So I'm holding onto the sides, looking at it, so I can try to see what's going
We
on.
saw
Hysterical.
War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise version.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And it was one of the promotional ones that they send out to screeners, I guess, from the Academy.
Right, right.
But this one had Russian subtitles underneath.
Yeah,
So, it was given to someone who then gave it to somebody else. They
right.
bootlegged it.
Would have got lost. Yeah.
Right. And they used to have those, they used to put people's names on them. I think they're doing that more recently where they put people's names on it. So
That way they could
wherever
just,
that screener ended up, people knew where it came from.
yeah. But anyway, getting back to streaming now.
Those things sounded terrible, by the way. Those bootleg videos and shit. Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh
like
yeah.
I have surround sound and a big screen now. So like I would never even think of watching something like that. It's
Or
just
especially if it was like you're saying, there's people there, because sometimes it was like the late show. So there's only like a few people in this. So you're watching a comedy, you just hear everybody laughing in the background. It's just like, oh my gosh. I like to say, you see someone stand up, go, and then they come back.
people coughing,
Yeah.
sneezing, babies
Yeah, but
crying.
that being said, now look at what we're offered through the streaming services. It's like, we get high quality because of the technology that's out there
Hmm.
now. You got 4K option to watch it in 4K. You have it, the quality is much better. So if you have a home theater, it's like watching the movie in a theater. The whole
Mhm.
experience is much better. versus what it was. But the way
Right.
they're
And now you
doing it,
can pause it, go to the bathroom in your own house, get a snack, do whatever you want.
Yeah, the guy on Netflix was on like 60 Minutes or something, and he's saying that the average person probably goes to 2 movies a month out into the real world, if you will. And
Mhm.
on Netflix, they'll watch anywhere between 7 and 10 movies a month. So it's not so much, that the movies aren't good or anything. It's just the fact that people are watching and doing things differently now.
yeah, you don't have the
It's
time.
enjoying more being at home.
Well, not only that, but it's a question of time. You can watch whatever, whenever,
Mm-hmm.
versus I can only see the 8 o'clock showing, or else that's it.
Yeah.
So it's more user friendly as far as accessing the media.
And
But I
it's
mean,
much more cost effective. You
yeah,
have a family, you have 3 kids at home
Oh,
and a
forget about
wife.
it.
You're dropping hundreds of dollars just to go to the movies and feed everybody snacks.
waste a month, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
It
Yeah.
is.
But now you have the option to just watch it at home. Don't matter if something happens, hold on, pause it. I'm going to be right back. So
Right.
it's more convenient.
Yeah,
And
you
then
go
you
to
go out,
fart and it turns into a shite. You got to stop the movie, man.
you drop a couple of $100 on this movie and it turns out to be Captain America Brave New World, and now you're just pissed off because I spent $200 to watch this.
Yeah.
So before we give the movie review, um, the thing now is they have separate tiers. Before, when you joined one of these services, it was you got everything that they offered. You didn't have to buy anything else. It was commercial free. Now there's separate tiers of what you can subscribe to.
Right. Not only that, but
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 they are charging you a premium for what the original service was commercial free. Now the option is, yeah, you can get it free, but or you can get it the base price, but it has commercials. We're going to offer you the package you originally had signed on to with no advertising, but at a higher
right,
premium.
right.
So it got you, and now you already canceled your cable subscription. You're picking and choosing which subscriptions you're buying off these different providers, but then they get to change everything around. So really, that's what we're talking about. What are the alternatives?
Right. Netflix just did that. They raised their prices. So,
Yeah.
but also with Netflix, and I don't know about any other streaming, but I'll talk about two of them right now, and we could go from there or do something because you may have experiences. Well, with Netflix, they now know that if I'm logged into my account, I should be here. They know my IP address. And then when Devin logs in, they're
Do
just like,
they?
hey, you're not using the normal network that you do. And then I would get a text message saying, hey, is this person authorized? So it got to a point where they killed that. So now you can't, you have to pay for an extra account. So that's one. The second thing, and I only see this either with Hulu or the Disney app.
I don't think that's true unless somebody is my beneficiary.
Well, I'm paying for an extra account. So you're probably piggybacking on that if you're still using my account.
Now, but they
I
they
got
used
look
to
at this. I
charge.
got served.
They
But
also used to
I want to
charge
talk
you
about the other one.
per TV. So if you wanted it on more than one television, you paid extra, just like cable services
Well,
used
it's like
to do.
cable. You need an extra box.
Yeah,
Right.
you're a box.
So here's my scrotum of grapes that are frozen.
Frozen grape berries.
HR just brought this up.
Hello,
Ooh,
HR.
Woodbridge.
We
Hi,
love HR.
HR.
She's lovely, beautiful, talented.
She just said hello to
Or
me.
is not stopping.
But yeah,
Yeah. So the other one was Disney and Hulu. For the life of me, I can't figure out why all of a sudden I was just using the app in the morning and I go to the app at night. It's like, hey, you're logged out, log back in.
Hmm.
I guess
That's so annoying. Or you log in and they're like, hey, it's time to change your password. So the funniest thing happened was we were trying to watch the Academy Awards a few days ago. Thanks, Dan.
Why?
And we go to log in And literally a half hour ago, we were watching Family Guy on Hulu. So we go to log back in and they kick us out to say, hey, you got to put in your password again. Okay, put in your password. Sorry, we're having a problem. Do this. Try to reconnect on your computer. And you go on the computer. Sorry, we're having, because so many people were attacking the server. It took like 10 to 15 times of just trying, and then you're going in. But the bottom line is it's so annoying that you have your password and all of a sudden it's stored in the app. Why are you going to bother me again to
Why
re
people were attacking the server?
well
With
for the
torches, pitchforks,
for
and
the Academy Awards, it was only on Hulu.
Oh, so they were just
So they
overloaded.
couldn't handle the load.
yeah.
That's like the Tyson fight. The
Right.
Tyson fight on Netflix. It was glitchy as hell because they had no idea how much traffic they were going to get, and they were unprepared for it.
Correct.
And that's the problem. The other thing too is that Hulu would often kick me out, and I'd have to re-sign in again. ESPN, same thing. I have the bundle: Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN, for one low, low price that keeps going up every time I turn around. But every time I try to log into ESPN, it tells me I don't have an account. I'm like, I do have an account.
Oh, it's
And it would
horrible.
take me a few things. ESPN is the worst. ESPN Plus so far has been the worst, but I've had that experience on Hulu where it kicks you out, it signs you out, and then it doesn't let you sign back in because it tells you you don't have an account. But I'm paying for the bundle. I have an account. I mean, I don't
So,
even know why because I hardly use Disney Plus, I hardly use Hulu, and I hardly use ESPN. So
so just to let you know, at the end of it, I have a top tens.
I need to get somebody to sponsor me for Disney Plus and ESPN and Hulu.
Speaking of sponsors,
Well, I think we
hey,
we
check
could
out
do that.
Mark Z
We'll talk
Drums.
offline, Mark.
We're doing sponsors, Ben. Mark, you
Sponsors,
want to
Mark
plug
Z Drums.
I'm
your
sponsoring Mark.
Mark Z Drums, invest in your future greatness. If you want to learn to play drums, I'm your man. I can help you. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what level of experience you have. It doesn't matter what your ultimate goal is. You could just want to play your favorite songs in your basement. You could want to go on to be a professional musician, a professional drummer. Any one of those scenarios, I can help. I can come to your house. I can come to your house virtually, or you can come to my palatial studio in the heart of New York, Long Island, Suffolk
Long
County.
Island.
and we'd like to also promote our website, the DWF Entertainment Media Network.
You want to take that again, Dan? Promote.
We're promoting stuff. It's the
Prom-
commercial break.
You said promote. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Promote the
Work
website.
from work. So we're promoting DWF Entertainment Media Network, where you can find a vast array of different content. It'll tell you about upcoming events with this podcast and each of our individual shows, which are pending, along with Mark Z Drums.
Behind the
And
scenes, video and pictures and all kinds of things.
a
Fun
lot of
stuff.
good content. So check it out. Also, for the final advert we're having tonight, check out the Drinking with Friends podcast. That's a separate, I guess,
Entity.
entity on its own where you'll
Wherever
find
you
a
get your
lot of
podcasts, you will get the audio version of this and a vast array, a huge cornucopia, a library of other shows
Potpourri.
from our many, many years on the air.
yes, and our website with
Cheers to that.
video, photos, and other fun stuff. So thanks for the
Where
plug.
can people go to the website? DWFcast.com.
That's it.
Your
Thank you.
one-stop shop.
Now, getting back to our topic, um, what if you don't okay, what if you put yourself in this situation where
I'm
you
sorry,
can't
hold on. Mark Gregory Voice for your voiceover needs. Audiobooks, trainer videos, instructional videos, commercials, you name it, Mark Z Voice can provide. Go
this is
ahead, Dan.
in the
He can
copyright?
oral it.
Now back to the
Check
show.
out check out Ben's computer services, including rebuilding your devices, helping you, teaching you, and doing hand holding so that you can use your computer and be on the cutting edge. You can
Be
contact Ben at
effective.
631.
That's
I
right.
won't give out the number.
Ben is our technical advisor here on the show,
And
which is
he
why
does,
we're not live streaming right now.
and
Ben
he
is our
gives
technical advisor.
free estimates and he works pro bono.
Pro boner.
Yes. So
Yes.
if it's free, it's for you. It's Benji. Look
That's
at
right.
him. He'll do anything
Free is
for
free.
free.
Really, I got to get home on the bus.
Yes. Okay. So now we're done.
Yes, I think we're done now.
And if you subscribe to a higher tier of this show, you'll have no commercial interruption.
Mark Z Drums across all social platforms. Now back to the show.
Yes. As we were saying, imagine you get yourself in a situation where you canceled your cable, you've subscribed to stuff, but now things have changed, the tiers are different, the content's changed. What do you do? Are there alternatives? Do you go back in time? Do you go to, I guess, the physical media? Do you go back to DVDs, Blu-rays, vinyl records,
You go
CD?
back to real networks.
Or
Yeah.
do you go back to putting an antenna on your TV? Seriously, what options do you have? Do you have
I've,
broadcast TV that
I've
you can
heard
get?
that you can get HD on your TV with just a roof antenna. That's what I've heard. I've never
Yeah,
tried.
yeah, they
Yes, they
said
were
that.
supposed to broadcast it, but
Exactly.
I don't know what channels they're doing.
And they do have, you can go and buy an antenna that you can put on top of your TV or put outside somewhere
Got to
that
be outside.
supposedly will pick up your HD signals because they're
Yes.
supposedly just flying around in the air for anybody to grab. Hey, do you remember those big giant satellite dishes that people used to have in the backyard?
Yeah.
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 Dish TV gone. They no longer require you to have a dish. They have an app now.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
really?
so,
Yeah,
Now it's not even satellite. DirecTV
not
is
even
not even
satellite.
satellite anymore.
wow.
Not as far as I
How
know.
about, like Ben said before, digital downloads like iTunes, Google Play, stuff like that. Amazon. So you could, purchase and download movies and you could stream them offline.
Right.
But I mean, it's like going backwards technology wise to get content without signing up for all these different services that change. Now, what do you guys think about how, I guess, all these different providers change up their services, change their content? And like, for example, you get a company like Apple TV that does provide their own shows. Some of them are good, and they make their own movies and they're going more in that direction. But a lot of the stuff they produce isn't very good either. And the same goes for Netflix and Amazon. They're all trying to jump into the producing their own content versus licensing from other providers like the studios and things like that. Um, but that changes everything because now are you forced to watch certain channels for things you like versus being able to buy it separately? Shouldn't there be a company that provides just tons of different content and you can subscribe to certain things? I'm just putting it out there. I'm not sure what the answer is.
Yeah, it's 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other. So when you get something like Netflix and all these companies that they're providing content because they don't want to pay for other services. So they say, let's just invest in ourselves and we do our own content. Some are hits, some are misses. Same thing with renting the subscription or something from a big movie company. Most of the movies are misses, some of them are hits. So it's the best thing is to stick with something that what I personally believe has more options for you to deal with. So me looking at all the UIs that you have with all these different apps, I think Netflix has probably one of the best user interfaces for you to check out and do stuff. You look at other apps and it's just like, oh, you go to select something and it doesn't tell you anything about it, not even a preview. Netflix, they'll tell you a little bit of something about it. They'll give you a little preview. Almost 90% of the time, there's a preview. Sometimes there's some movies that don't have quote unquote a trailer.
But is
But
that more important than the content on the service? Your user interaction, your user interface?
yes, I believe so. If history repeats itself.
That's a
There
hot
was
take, Ben.
what?
That's a hot take.
Well, can I explain my theory?
No, but anyway, so what I had, I think Amazon,
So this is what happened. You're talking over me, Mark. So I'm gonna no, just go.
Amazon Prime is good. They also have the X-ray. So whatever scene you are in a movie or a TV show, if you click on X-ray, it tells you who's involved in that scene. And because
That's really cool too.
yeah,
I wish
because
Netflix had that.
I've been watching Invincible, and the voice acting is it's star-studded. Like a real lot of great voice actors. It's a really great animated show. I'm thinking about reading the comic because the stories are unbelievable, and I'd really like to. So Dan, if you can get an idea of how many Invincible comics there are by Kirkman, I would
I would,
definitely be interested in getting the
and
series.
I'll get them for you if I can get them.
Yeah, if you can, that would be great. Because it's a really great series. But if you go to X-Ray, and then once you find the actor that you're interested in, you can click on them and it tells you what they've been in. It gives you all this information.
Yeah.
So I agree the interface is important, but I think the content is important. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't hardly watch. The only reason I'm on Amazon again, because I shut down Amazon, I shut down my account. But
Mhm.
when season 3 of Invincible came back, I said, I want to watch it. So I opened my account, reopened it. And next week, when the finale's over, I'm going to shut it down again because I just don't use
Now,
it.
you brought up a good point where you're shutting it down. You've been using YouTube TV. How
Yes.
is that versus the other options you have? Ben, you
Well,
do YouTube also?
No,
well,
I
the
just do
crazy thing
YouTube
is,
for so I could sign in and I could like videos and all that stuff, and I can make my own playlists.
But
right. So
you're not,
you use YouTube. You don't
I
use,
use YouTube, but I don't use YouTube TV.
all right. So, Mark, you use YouTube TV.
well,
How is it?
back
You
in the
like
day,
it?
years ago, I started using Apple TV, which is the box that allows you to stream everything through it, like similar to a Roku or something like that. I think Amazon also has like a Fire Stick or something that
Yep.
you can put right in your TV in the USB port, and that will serve
HDMI.
right your HDMI, um, and it will serve as your streaming service,
Yep.
and you can get everything through there. So the Apple TV, which is now also a streaming service, Apple TV, but I'm talking about the physical box. I would download all the apps I wanted to, whether it's HBO Max, whether it's YouTube, um, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, Hulu, all of that lives on my Apple TV, and that's how I was streaming for a while. But when I wanted to watch live TV, I had Verizon, I had Fios. And after a while, it just got to be too much, too expensive. I still have Fios for my streaming, for my internet, but I went to YouTube TV, which was, well, again, it started out at like 69 bucks a month for a DVR, all the channels that you want. Um, and it was a great service. The quality was great. They offer 4K for a little bit extra. Now it went from 60 something dollars a month. Now it's up to like 90 bucks a month just because they keep jacking up the price every few months. But the service itself is really good. YouTube TV, I would recommend to anybody who's paying 200 plus bucks for a cable service for boxes. You get YouTube TV. You could use it on any TV in your house. I have multiple Apple TVs all through my house and all of them, and I can stream it on my phone if I want to. So I highly recommend YouTube TV. The quality is great. It looks great. It works good all the time. So yeah. And then I have, of course, the Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus bundle. I have Amazon Prime. I have Max. I have Netflix. I have all of that stuff. But the problem with the streaming services is you can't watch everything on one. You need multiple. If you want to watch certain things that you like, you need four, five, six streaming services to be able to watch the movies and shows you want because everything
And
could be on a different service.
sports, Paramount,
Sports,
oth- other things that you have to subscribe to. Not that you want
TikTok.
to, but you want to watch a certain game. The
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, for example, they're not televised or
Oh
they're
my God.
limited. So they
You,
force you to subscribe temporarily, but still you're subscribing to another service.
I
And
hate that.
it's like you're held hostage, you
And
know.
Ben, you said that the Academy Awards was exclusively on Hulu?
It was yes, Hulu. I think it was just Hulu. And
It was
something
on,
else.
it was on regular TV, dude.
Well, it must have been on regular. I don't want to say must, but usually they'll give you the option. So they'll put it on regular TV
Oh, let me find out because I remember it
and
was
on a
just Hulu,
streamer.
but I think it was because I
Do you
forget.
have cable?
Me no.
So that's why. If you can't watch the network stuff, then you have to use the streaming service.
But what the NFL started doing was putting certain games exclusively on Amazon Prime or exclusively on something else. I think they had a goddamn Christmas game on Netflix,
Yeah.
which was terrible. And
Yep.
if you didn't have Netflix, you weren't watching that Christmas game. And the Steelers were playing on Christmas against the Chiefs. Terrible game, but I wouldn't have been able to watch it if I didn't have Netflix.
Well, that was the point I was making. Now they're making separate deals with
Right.
Major League Baseball, the NFL, the
Yep.
NHL. So now the fan is kind of screwed because what if you don't have access to it? You can't
Right.
watch it,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
So back to what you were saying, it was free over the air. They call it on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have that, the only way else to watch it was for Hulu.
Because
They also said
a lot of
it
people
was on
don't
Hulu
have
Live,
local channels anymore.
Yeah.
YouTube TV, AT&T TV, and Fubo TV.
No, don't even get me started on Fubo TV.
That's the Latino one, right?
Fubo TV, Philo TV, Fufu TV, PPTV, whatever it is. It's like all
Well,
these stupid names of all these services. And then you get the service because it's cheap and you have to watch Welcome Back Kotter every day
yeah,
And commercials.
and commercials because that's all they can afford in these little services. But people buy them because they're cheap and it's something to watch.
Or
Oh,
they're
okay.
free. Or they're free.
Or they're free.
And they
Yeah.
rope you in that way.
But I will tell you, you know what was crazy? I started watching a show on Freevee, I think it was called, just
Yeah.
yeah,
randomly.
freebie.
Yeah, I was hanging out with my dad. I was down in Florida, and he was watching this show with Thomas Jane and some actress I never heard of. But I got hooked, and when I got home, I watched the rest of the series because it was such a good show.
What
But it
show
was
is it?
on. It was called Tropo, and it took place in Australia. And it was like a murder mystery. This ex-cop was, trying to rebuild his life after his wife left him and all. And he runs into this young girl who's an investigator, and they work together to solve this mystery, right?
They
Really,
investigated each other.
really, it was really, really good. It was a really good show. Yeah, well, actually, she was pretty cute.
Wow.
But Freevee used to be IMDb TV.
Oh,
Mhm.
was it? Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
which is crazy, right? Like you can't even keep track of these companies anymore. But
Yeah.
they produced actually a very good original show on Freevee of all places. Like who the hell knew? But they did it, right? So everybody's kind of getting into this business of, like you said, Dan, creating your own TV shows, creating your own movies. And who are they getting? They're getting the Chris Hemsworths, they're getting the Chris Pratts, they're getting all these big names, the Momoas, like all of these big actors are going to make Netflix movies, going to make Hulu movies, going to make Apple TV movies and TV shows. Like they're attracting this major talent.
I'll be right back. I gotta
Pretty
go to the
crazy.
bathroom.
Yeah, but
Look at
stay in his face. You know what? I think
Was
that
it? I go to the bathroom.
the trend is
I
going
can't with this.
into the future as we go further into the future. I think that they're going to be uh really very specific as to who they want to hook in and the
Mm,
content they provide. For example, I could see a streaming service that's just anime only. That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, there is. It's
One,
called Crunchyroll.
yeah, yeah, they already have one. But I think they're going to divide it so that way it's very user specific, or they
And
create
Hulu?
an audience that's
Right.
just for that specific. Like,
Right.
for example, you could have just sci-fi stuff or horror movies or love story
Yeah,
movies,
they,
whatever.
they there are streamers that have those. There's Chiller, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That's horror.
Yep.
But Hulu and Amazon Prime both have huge anime libraries. So if
Hmm.
you go on any one of those streaming services and you go to the anime category, there's like countless titles. It's
Yeah.
really, really huge. So you can have a Crunchyroll, but you can also see a lot of great anime on these other streaming platforms that have these huge libraries because it's so popular.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. That I guess that through Amazon and more accessible or more popular platforms, they get people into it. And once they really get into it, they can go further and go to the Crunchyroll, whatever you know. But
Mhm.
I think that that's the trend going forward, just like with music now. We were talking more so TV and movies, but same thing with streaming services. I mean,
He ruined it. He ruined it.
he's back.
He ruined it.
Damn it. How's Vader? Good? Did you
Good.
bump into him in the hallway? Tell him I say
So,
hi. But anyway, yeah, Ben, we are just talking about how um a lot of content is going to be focused on a specific genre of, let's say, we are talking about anime, how now Crunchyroll just specifically is anime stuff.
yeah.
But now we're changing gears and getting into the music streaming. And we had talked about this before, but I mean, where's it going? Do they provide their own content? So it's kind of tricky because you have to pay the artist to, licensing through whoever owns the publishing for that artist's work. Now, when that contract expires, you have to, but it's not as bad as TV and movies. Why? Because there's so much more content. Whereas with music, it's not as varied as that. Well, although it's huge because you have different classical music, jazz, you have rock, you have pop, you have everything, hip hop,
But
old school.
don't certain music streamers have exclusive artists or exclusive releases that'll come out
Correct.
only on Spotify, that'll come out only on Amazon Music or Apple Music,
Yep,
so
exactly.
it's getting that way too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember
you
that
want to hear the
fiasco
talk with
YouTube,
YouTube? Yeah. Yeah, where
where
they
they just downloaded it onto everybody's phone or
Yeah.
their
oh
iTouches? It was
man,
like, what the hell?
that's ballsy.
That
Yes,
was.
I do remember that.
You
Yeah.
get a
I
free
mean,
album. I don't
At
want this.
first at first people were like, and you can't delete it, but you can delete it.
yeah, but I mean, what options do you have? Go back to vinyl, go back to CDs. Do you go to
Vinyl's
a
making a
service
comeback,
and
man. You can get Reagan Youth Volume 3 Life and Times Revisited, which dropped on the 28th of February. You can get that on a special collector's edition red disc or a blue disc
ooh,
in addition to CD.
now
Very.
that you
And
brought
of
that
course
up,
streaming on on all streaming platforms. But if you wanted a physical copy, you can get the limited edition red and blue discs.
now that you brought it up, condolences to the guitarist's family and friends.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you were part of a big part of what's happened recently with Reagan Youth,
Yeah.
and condolences to you and everyone else involved with him. I'm sorry the name escapes me. Can you mention his name, please?
Peter what? What? His last name was
Paul
weird. Paul.
Paul Cripple was his Reagan Youth name, his punk name. Paul Bakia was his
That's it, Pakia.
actual name. Croatian born. And he was one of the founding members of Reagan Youth back in the 80s. They put out two great albums. He and his singer Dave Insurgent. And unfortunately, Dave Insurgent passed way too early. And the volume 3 is the third record that Paul's always wanted to make to call attention to Dave's life and not just his tragic death, which is what everybody seemed to be focusing on. So this album is dedicated to Dave Insurgent. The music is about his life and is meant to call attention to the life that he lived and not just his tragic passing. So that was Paul's vision, and I'm just grateful that he chose me to be a part of it and that we got it done. And unfortunately, right after the record was completed, a couple of weeks later, Paul passed away. Um, but the thing that I hold dear in my heart is that we got it done. The
Yeah.
record is complete, it's out, it's available. Um, I love it. It's great. We had a listening party a couple of weeks ago and we listened to the vinyl, and it was just so special. All of us together that were involved in the record, all the people that came out to hear it for the first time with us. Really, really great stuff. So there will be more coming. Um, there might even be some tour dates involved where we May tour in support of the new Reagan Youth album.
Now, who is we?
So Madame Saint Beatrice, Paul's wife, um, who he is survived by, she sang on the record. I played drums on the record, and we are recruiting the services, or have recruited the services, of Mr. Ed Mishke, um, a guest we had on one of the very first shows that we did, the Drinking
He
with
was a very
Friends
good
podcast,
guest.
Mm-hmm.
and a man that I've played and made music with for many years. I've toured all over the world with him for many years, and we've always vowed that we would work together in some capacity or another. And he's involved in this project now, so we'll see what the future holds. But I'm really excited because I really do think that people are excited about the record, and I think that we would do well to continue to honor Paul's legacy by playing this music live. You know, I think it would be really really cool.
Well, we'll be looking out for you guys, and we're looking forward to supporting you guys and checking it out.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll let
Keep
you
us
guys
all
know, let
updated.
everybody know as the tour dates develop. But
Very good.
thank you for bringing that up, Dan. Very
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah, I figured because it meant a lot to you, and it's, a very human thing to express a person's life and all their work and being a part of it. It must be really cool to have been a part of it. So it's very cool.
Yeah, and I've been playing with him and Madame Saint Beatrice for about 7 years now. You know, with just doing the Madame Saint Beatrice stuff, and then working with Paul on helping to put the finishing touches on the writing. He wrote all the music. I helped with some arrangements. I, helped with some of the writing of the music. But he and Beatrice collaborated on the music and the vocals and the lyrics. But he asked me to be a part of it, and it was, my honor to do so. And I think it came out great.
I think we're going to have to do a separate show and
Yeah.
have the surviving members of the band or everybody in Madame St. Beatrice who is involved or wants to be involved to be on the show. And we can
Yeah.
really get into it.
Yeah, she's really looking forward to. I did ask her; she would love to come on the show. I think we should do a listening party. We should listen to
Mhm.
some tracks, have her on, and we'll talk about the record.
Sounds great. So now, if you guys want to wrap this segment up, we can do that.
Yes,
We also have to mention the late, great who, Ben? He was also known as Buster Poindexter.
Oh yeah, David Johansen.
Yes.
Mm.
New York Dolls. Very overlooked band, but man, they planted a lot of punk rock seeds, if you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean.
Yeah,
The whole
absolutely.
glam thing, the whole persona, everything. And then he was a semi-chameleon as well. He
Mm-hmm.
transformed that career into Buster Poindexter. Then he was like a lounge act. So he
And
was the yeah, he was in movies. He was
movies.
in Scrooged. I don't know offhand much more than that, but watching a documentary that was recently shown on one of the streaming services, you could see who's in ill health. But
Mm.
he was talking about his career and recording with other people in different studios. He went to um I don't know, it's just very eye-opening, which I love documentaries about musicians or people that I'm interested in as far as music goes, because you get a better understanding of where they're coming from
Right.
and why they did what they did. For example, I was listening to Joe Rogan and the singer from Smashing Pumpkins, and it was a very good show. And I'm not done listening to it, and it's 2 hours and change already.
Hmm.
And Morgan's talking about his upbringing. His father was a drug addict, but a very good musician. He was also dealing drugs. So all this stuff kind of gives you a better appreciation for the people and how that experience transforms into their art. So,
Right, Billy Corgan. His father, like you said, was a traveling musician.
Mr. Corrigan.
Billy was in awe of, and on top of that, allegedly, um, oh, what's the comedian
Burr,
Bill
Bill
Burr.
Burr,
Bill Burr
he said
is supposed to be his brother,
that he has a half brother named Bill, but the father never told him anything
who
else.
he was. So who
That's an
knows what
ongoing
if those they're
controversy that they're half
brothers and blah blah
brothers.
I've
blah.
seen some clips of them talking about it. It's funny.
They were
Yeah,
on a
on
show with Howie
Howie Does
Mandel.
Stuff, the Howie Mandel podcast.
Yeah, and he had them both on and kind of surprised them with the whole premise.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I haven't heard it, but I heard it
Oh
was
no, it was great because Bill Burr thought Bill Corrigan was a dick. He was like, you're an ass for coming on here and doing all this stuff. He goes, wait, dude, Billy Corrigan's so cool. He goes, I have a text here that says from Howie saying that you were cool to talk about this. He goes, oh, so then Howie's the dick. It was really funny. And them two got along, and he goes, listen, Bill Burr goes, listen, I'm not going to ask you to go play catch outside when this show is over. It's nice meeting you. We're on our own little path. And they talked a little bit. It was really, really nice. They ended up, bonding slightly. But I was just watching Billy Corgan. He has his own podcast now.
Yeah.
And he's interviewing people. And he was
also
talking
has
that
a
not only
wrestling
was his
company.
father a traveling guy,
Yeah, he's into wrestling too.
but
Right.
his mom, by the time he was like age 7, was in a psych ward. So he was talking to, I can't remember her name, this lady who has probably written
I'm going to check
more
myself into a
songs.
psych ward if this story goes on much longer. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I know.
But she's written all these great songs for all these great people. And he was telling her about that and how when he writes songs, I'm always looking for approval. And she was just like, I sort of kind of do the same thing. And it's really, really cool interview. So, yeah, Billy Corgan had a pretty rough life, man.
Yep.
But they said when they went on the show, Bill Burr was pissed at him because he told that story.
Yes.
And
And
Bill Burr was under
wasn't ready to talk about it. And
that they weren't going to tell the story.
Right. Bill Corgan was the dick for bringing it up. And then he had to show him. But Howie said it would be okay. I was to go, so Howie's the dick.
Yeah. He set him up.
Yeah.
As any
anybody can have their own freaking podcast. What the hell? You know?
Well, Billy Corrigan is the owner of NWA Wrestling, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So he's got his own.
He's big into that. He also has a tea company.
Okay.
A what company?
Tea. Like
okay,
tea bagging tea.
Now, speaking of, right, because you mentioned a documentary about Scarlett Johansson. And
I did?
Yeah.
David.
And there will be a documentary that's being worked on now and should be released soon on the making of the new Reagan Youth record.
Oh, that's nice.
Focusing on
is Scarlett Johansson in it?
Yeah, she is in it. She's hosting. She's the narrator.
So
But it focuses. I play myself. I actually am popping up in this thing.
Wait, say that again.
Did he say plays it with himself?
Say that again.
I said playing to me.
It just marked that.
Yeah, so I'm in it quite a bit, and it documents the process of recording the record when he was sick, and he was such a trooper because sometimes he would come to the studio and have to lay on the floor and just just rest, and then I
remember seeing you at the
takes.
Amity Music Hall.
Yes.
He's playing, and what is that? A colostomy?
Yes, colostomy bag. Yes,
colostomy.
Whatever, I don't know.
He had a couple of bags that he would show off on stage.
Yeah,
and the reason why,
poor dude,
and the reason why he would do that is because he would get a ton of shit online from people claiming that he wasn't really sick. And you know how people are. You know how the internet is, right? So he would.
Why would people question somebody's illness?
I have no idea.
That's really
nothing better
bad.
to do. So he would go up on stage and he would pull his shirt off and pull his shirt up and just say, "Yeah, see, this goes to show that I'm really sick and I'm fighting." And he would
incision right here, bitches. They cut me open like a fucking fish.
You have a crazy.
Ricky and I went to see that show.
Heart was outside of his body, by the way.
Yes, my heart was on vacation.
His heart was outside of his body at one point.
My heart took a trip without me and came back, thank God. And thanks for asking. The heart monitor stuff was fine.
Okay, cool.
I survived.
So back to the show. We don't know what was more attention grabbing, seeing that bag, or Mark's face when Paul just said, "What song do you want to play?" And someone says, "I want to do that." And he let people come up and sing. And Mark's like, I don't know this song. You see
Yeah,
Mark
because
panicking, but he fucking pulls it off because Mark's the talent, man.
so
But
Paul
we were
gave
cracking
me.
up because I'm looking at Mark and he's just like, I have no idea.
I still have
People
Vicky's
are just
panties.
coming up.
I still have HR's panties from that night, by the way. She gave them to me.
Who's?
Oh my God, HR threw
HR.
her panty?
Yeah, she gave me her panties.
Oh, oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
Well,
Those
she did.
weren't hers, they were
Don't
Ben's.
include don't include yourself, Ben. You're ruining everything.
Okay,
He did.
sorry, I'll leave
So
again.
when so when so he we were planning the show out and he sent me a set list of songs in order and I learned those songs in order. Now, mind you, I knew all of the songs because I had been playing those songs with them on and off already. But that show, he said, okay, learn these songs in this order. And the very first words out of his mouth was a totally different song, not even on the list that he was going to play. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. So I wasn't really panicking, but I had not really practiced those songs, but I knew them enough to play them. But that was
Yeah.
an amazing night. The place was packed full of kids, all
Oh,
ages.
Pat,
There was so many people there, and there were a lot of young people singing
that
the
was
song,
impressive.
which was and it was for oh, I think it was another punk band, and we were opening for them. But there were so many kids there singing Reagan Youth songs, and again, these albums came out in the '80s. It was pretty unbelievable. So
Yeah.
that was a great night. That was a really funny night. But yeah, look for the documentary. It you know documents the making of the record when he was sick, and you know, I mean, he was a special guy because music was something he held on to when he got sick, and things got bad and things kept getting worse for him. He was always playing his music. He never missed a gig. He never missed a rehearsal. You know, he made it through no matter what, and I will always admire him for that.
Now, where can you see the documentary?
Well, it's not out yet, but if you go and search Reagan Youth Volume 3, you'll find some clips, you'll find some preliminary like trailers for it, and some other footage that was taken. It's on YouTube if you search.
Yeah, I saw you in it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
it's very, very cool. So
I was
let's,
playing it I was playing that album at the store.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and it was funny because I hear all the cursing and stuff, but I just didn't care. I was like, fuck it. Let him play it, let
I
it
love
rip.
all the spoken stuff. It's so
Oh
cool.
yeah.
And
It's
that's what
just
he did. He did that from his
so
hospital.
different than what's out there, you know? It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Well, that was a
So
cool
in
idea
tribute
he
to
came up
him,
with.
he played it there.
He wanted to talk about the songs. So what happens is the first track does not have a spoken intro, but every song after that, so it's not an outro to the song, it's actually an intro to each song.
Yeah.
And it's just a little clip of him playing guitar. There's actually footage of him, video of him playing guitar and doing the spoken word from his hospital bed. Um, Heartbreaking stuff, but again, it adds so much to the record. And he was
Hmm.
a storyteller. He was a history buff. He knew stuff about history. He knew stuff about, so he was also a Steelers fan, which is another reason why we bonded. He would tell me who they drafted in 1972, what round, what position, what player, the number they wore. Like it was unbelievable how this guy's brain was just so full of information. Not only that, but Reagan Youth had a number of songs included in Stranger Things, that movie Airheads with Brendan Fraser. The final
Oh
song,
wow.
the final song Degenerated that the band performs at the end of the movie is a Reagan Youth song. And he's got music all over TV and movies. I can't even tell you how many. When I started looking into it, he was telling me about it. I was like, holy shit, this guy's got music all over these major motion pictures and television shows. So really, really cool stuff. Once you kind of start, because I did the deep dive when I started working with him, I wanted to know about his history and about the band's history.
Hmm.
It's fascinating. There's so much stuff on YouTube, interviews, old interviews, like just all kinds of stuff. So it's really, really cool. So what I think we
That's
could
great.
do, what I would love to do, is just talk about the pros and cons really quick, our individual gripes about streaming, what we like about it, and then Ben, if I'm not mistaken, has a couple of top 10 lists
Hmm.
we can end the
Yikes.
show with.
I mean, oh. So I'll go first. What I like about it is the quality of what you can stream, the variety of stuff you can stream, and the convenience of when you can watch.
Hmm.
And also the ability to binge watch instead of waiting every week for a new episode to come out.
Right.
Once the whole season drops, you can watch it at your leisure.
Right.
Okay, that's my end. What I don't like is the different tier pricing, how much content flips around from carrier to carrier, sub provider to provider.
Right.
And you just don't know what's on where. You have to search it on the internet to find out who's got it at that point in time.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
that
but
being
that's a
said,
great point at that point in time because it's not
yeah,
set in stone. It can
yeah,
jump
Right.
streamer to streamer. So you could be watching something, and like Ben was saying, you could be watching something on one platform. Then all of a sudden, the contract runs out, and it's not on that platform anymore, and you got to go find it somewhere
Right.
else.
There are sometimes even on Netflix, it says, hey, this show that you have that you want to watch, it's gone in 3 days. You better
That's right.
watch it now.
They have a
I'm like,
whole yeah, they have a whole section on Netflix, things that are leaving soon.
leaving
right.
soon,
Yeah,
like
so
me from the
it's
show.
crazy. So I agree with you. Um, I do like the convenience of it. What I don't like is if on some, like an Apple TV, for instance. So I can search the entire Apple TV for a certain movie, and it will tell me which app has that movie. But sometimes if you go on Apple TV and you search the movie, it'll come up and it'll say, "Oh, you could buy it for $20. You can rent it for $5 or whatever." But if you go to the service you know it's on, it could be for free. So there's this thing where if you don't know better, you can end up paying for something that's free on another service, and they don't really tell you that.
Mhm.
That's one thing. The other thing is how they take a price that you've been paying for how many years, and they don't charge you more. They just now have added commercials. So you're paying the same. So technically they did not raise your rate, but they changed your service. So now if you want no commercials, now you have to pay more. So technically, no, we didn't raise your rate. You're opting to pay more. Well, you did change my service. So I hate that. I hate
Mhm.
how you can now you have to watch or subscribe to certain things to watch certain events, to watch certain sporting events, to watch certain games. All of it is really not conducive to customer service. It's not good for the people, for the customers. So there are a lot of things. They used to talk about, well, you can pick and choose the channels you want on your cable service a la carte. And that's what kind of streaming was supposed to be. And it's become such a mess. They've made such a mess of streaming. It's ridiculous. You have Disney Plus that when they came on the platform, all of a sudden they're like, we need content. And they started making all this crappy TV, Marvel stuff, and Star Wars TV shows to sell their Disney Plus service. And now they've cut back because they were like, the quality of what we're doing on Disney Plus is terrible. Same with Netflix. Netflix has to pump out content or they'll lose all their subscribers. So it's not always good stuff. That's what I have to say about streaming. Ben,
Okay. Ben,
comment?
Yeah, I
You've
really
been
don't have much to
listening to
say
the
about it
Drinking with Friends
because
podcast.
no one cares.
No one cares. Wah, wah,
my
wah,
gripe
wah.
is more on the app itself. I'm so tired of some of these apps when I go to launch them and I just get a spinning wheel.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what the hell?
Spinning wheel.
I got to
ESPN Plus.
kill the app. It could be the Fire Stick. Maybe it's not the app. I don't know. But I had to go. I have to clear the cache out. Sometimes I have to reboot the entire Fire Stick in a certain way that it clears all the cache. And then I can start watching my program. That's my gripe. I personally don't really care about, any sports or any of those things until the time comes when I want to watch like the Super Bowl or something. Then I care about, and then I'm like, oh crap, none of the services that I have are going to allow me to watch the Super Bowl. I'm going to have to rent an app for the week, do a trial give them my credit card and all this information, and then hope that they don't start charging me because there was a glitch in their system. But I really don't care so much. I enjoy Netflix. I have a couple of other ones like Paramount because I enjoy watching some news, even though it's CBS. It was just very cheap. So my like I said, my only gripe is I think they need to do better on making the app more solid. It's just annoying that there's buffering, that there's all this different stuff. And I know the network connection is great. I'm hardwired, and
The self-destruct.
the Wi-Fi connection is 2 feet away, so I know it's not a problem with that. So blah blah
You're in the
blah blah blah.
industry, so you know.
Yeah, I'm in the
we're
industry. So there it is.
Very
Well,
good. Ben, do you have a
I
top
think-
10 list?
I think
So I got the top 10. Don't forget, I got 2 top 10s. And
yeah,
I
we
think
know.
one of them is going to be better for our listeners if they take advantage of it.
This is the problem with our Zoom. It's hard to hear each other sometimes. That you got to wear headphones, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm talking to you. You got to wear headphones.
Give me
Hairphones?
Yeah, you. You got to wear headphones.
hairphones. Oh, hair pie.
Ben, you
Now
wear
I
them like
forgot
this.
what I was going to say.
What?
I forgot.
Top 10 list.
Now I can't say it. So go ahead and do your top 10 list, and I'll interrupt you when I remember what I was going to say.
Okay. So what do you think the top 10 apps
Oh, I remember.
are?
I don't.
Go
I'm
ahead.
kidding. Go ahead.
I know. So there really isn't in any order, but
Streaming apps?
streaming apps, what are the ones that people should be using the most?
Should be or
interesting.
do use the most.
The top 10 picks. These are the ones you really should have.
Okay. Who goes first?
Who wants to go first? Mark,
I'm
you
going to
go
go
first.
first. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Amazon Prime. I'm going to say that.
You get the finger.
Number
It
one.
ain't on there.
Oh, it ain't on there? Amazon Prime's not on there.
Dan. Oh, I'm
Like-
sorry. It is.
Ben.
It's
I
listed
can't read
as
my own
Prime
top
Video,
10 list.
not Amazon.
I figured
I
it
take
had to be
back
on
the
there.
finger.
Prime Video. Take it back. Crank
I
it
take
back.
it back.
All right. What
What
Prime
number?
Video. It's not. There's no numbers.
Oh,
the numbers? Okay.
so I said Netflix.
Netflix is there. Mark.
I was going to say Netflix, but I really do enjoy, and Netflix has a great interface. When you do click on a certain movie, they automatically puts a trailer on. Like it's got its categories all laid out. It always works well for me. Amazon Prime, same thing. Never had a problem with it. I'm going to say, which I also think is a really good service based on its content, is Max. Used to be HBO Max.
Bingo.
Now it's Max.
Max is on there.
What about Apple TV or Apple?
Mwah, mwah.
It's not on there?
Not on there.
It's probably
Wow.
too new for his list.
Yeah.
I wonder when he made the list or when he got the list.
That was like 1990.
But it's relatively new. I got to tell you.
Updated February 18th, 2025.
Oh, wow. Because Apple has a lot of hits.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few shows that are big on Apple TV.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, well.
didn't make it.
Okay.
Your turn, Mark.
All right. Let me see. Hulu. Hulu. I'm gonna go Hulu.
Hulu is there.
Hulu is there.
Ding, ding, ding. All right, Dan.
Now, is this only movies or does it apply to music?
Everything.
Everything. Because
Spotify.
Hulu. Spotify, he said.
Oh, no, not Spotify. Let's just deal with movie. I guess. I'm sorry. I apologize. Movies and all that. So you get to go
video
with
Okay.
streaming.
video streaming.
Let's try
Mark, did we even talk about fucking music streaming?
No, not at all.
No,
A little
so
bit.
He's got to pull that out.
Dan tried to steer
Because
us in that
it's
direction,
streaming.
and we quickly
I know.
corrected our course.
Okay.
your number
Let's
one on
just-
my list.
let's-
Because
go
music
back to
streaming
Dan.
is a whole different story. We've talked about
Okay.
Okay, go, Dan.
streaming service. Blah, blah,
No,
blah,
it was
blah,
my
blah,
turn. He
blah.
struck out.
Roku.
No, he
No
struck out.
Roku. But that's good. Good call.
He
But
doesn't
no
get no.
Roku.
He doesn't get another guess because he said you stupid
No, I made the mistake
Spotify.
because okay, you go, Mark.
All right. What the hell other streaming services are there? Oh, you know what? Which one I think is very popular? Paramount Plus.
It is not on the list.
Hmm. What about
Did you
Dan,
Peacock? What
Disney
about the
Plus?
cock?
yes.
Disney Plus. That's a good
I
one.
was and Disney Plus is there. Yes.
But the cock is there?
The Yep. I was gonna give that clue. Not
P.
a P cunt, a P.
Oh, God.
Dick.
A P dick. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Okay,
no.
so
You know what makes Peacock very popular? Number one, it's
What?
NBC. It's NBC.
mhm.
So it's got all the, NBC is a big network, a lot of hit shows, but they have WWE. And if you have Peacock, you go right to the WWE section and you can watch all the pay-per-views for free as long as you're subscribed to Peacock,
Oh.
right? So they have five,
It's not
six,
really free. It's just they provide it on their platform.
right. Well, you don't
All
pay
right, we got
separately
four
for
more.
you don't pay separately for the pay-per-views, right? They're included in your monthly subscription. There's four more. All right. So we
Four
did
more, and
Peacock,
we talked about three of them tonight.
Hmm.
Peacock
Dan.
Plus, Hulu.
Um, well, you said Max, right?
I said Max, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh,
Want a hint?
YouTube.
No, I have
Yep. YouTube TV. I
YouTube
was about to say
TV.
Mark
Good one.
subscribes to it.
Crunchyroll.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Two left.
Um,
I don't know if you know these. We didn't talk about these. I'm sorry. I think
I am
maybe we
smashing
talked
this
about
bottle.
Vinemo.
no. I don't think you're
Mobile.
going to get these two.
So two
Supine.
streaming services. Let me see.
One of them begins with the letter T. The other one begins with the letter C.
Hmm.
I actually have one of these.
Catbox TV.
No. All right.
So,
Tubi
oh,
and Curiosity.
Ah.
oh,
Oh, that's like
Curiosity is the
Discovery
mystery
Channel.
channel. Does that specialize in mysteries? Curiosity, or is it a learning channel?
That's like
I
Discovery.
don't know. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, you know what, Dan? You said
What?
Discovery. They launched their own streaming service with all the HGTV shows, all the
Oh,
Food
yeah.
Network shows, all on Discovery.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I haven't
mainly
heard much about that.
documentaries.
Oh, and Curiosity. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Tubi I've
curious.
heard of.
And now for our fans, the top 10 or a bunch of free ones. What do you think are the best free ones?
Best or just
Yeah, these are the best free ones.
boo boo?
We talked about one of them tonight.
Freebie,
Freebie?
Freebie. We talked about another one also.
Philo,
Dan brought it up.
Philo,
Oh, no, Mark, you just got it. Philo also. And Dan brought it up. This is the one that's at 7-Eleven.
Redbox.
Redbox.
Redbox
Is it a
online.
verse? Ding, 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 ding. So
What else
Redbox
we got,
is
Ben?
a streaming service?
I don't think you'll even get some of these. So let me just tell you what they are because they're
Yeah, please.
pretty funny.
Redbox is free?
Yep. There's Black Lives Matter. There's Black Fam, BLKFAM, promoted as the first Black owned streaming service, and it is free. Believe it or not, Chick-fil-A Play.
Oh,
Filet
no.
play
All right. So that's
It's
got to
with
be
chicken
a religious channel.
with chickens.
Am I right about that?
It says
Religious
among the
channel?
company's new original series, Evergreen Hills, an animated programming featuring chicken fillet cows. Crackle. I like Crackle. I have Crackle.
Crackle, yeah.
Never
That's
heard of
from
Crackle.
Sony. Google TV Free Play.
Hmm.
Oh, I have
Hoopla
one. I have one. I have one. Oopla, I've heard of.
and Canopy.
Samsung TV.
I don't think that's on here.
Because on Samsung TVs, they have a free service which streams right from the TV if you click on it, and you can watch, those old shows and old movies and things like that.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing.
Here's the other
Philo,
thing.
watch for free.
Here's the other thing I hate about streaming services is that now everybody wants to charge you for movies that are 30 and 40 years old.
Yeah.
They want you to pay $20 to watch a movie. Like we were trying to watch around Christmas time, the old Rankin Bass, Santa Claus is
Yeah,
coming to town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They're charging people like $20 to watch those movies. I
I
was like,
have the
holy
DVD.
shit, that's crazy. Plus, they're free on TV all through the season anyway. But just the fact that
Oh,
they're
yeah.
charging people for those old ass
It's
movies.
it's a convenience factor. I can watch it with the kids right now.
Yeah.
They're waiting for
Yeah.
Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on ABC to watch.
And when
a
you
half
think
hour.
about it, $20 as opposed to 100 in the theaters, some people just do it.
Just
Pluto
do it, man.
TV, Redbox, the Roku channel,
Mm,
Sling Free Stream,
right, Sling.
Tubi, which we talked about earlier,
Roku makes their own TVs now
X,
too.
but that's Spanish, and
Ben,
Xumo, XUMO Play.
Ben.
What?
Roku makes their own TVs.
Make their own TV?
You can buy a Roku TV.
Get the hell out of here. I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yes, you can. Well, you can't
Wow.
because you're poor and you can't afford it. But most people can.
Mark, find one.
And that's it.
Not a tofu TV that you can eat.
So we'll put all these up when we
I
post
would never
the
buy Ben a
put a link
TV.
to
What has
this.
he ever done for me?
But Ben, what
Bought
have
me
you
a really
done for
big
him lately
TV. He bought me a really
What
big
have I?
TV.
What have I done lately?
to deserve this?
Then bought me a
Yeah. All right.
75
Close the
inch
show
TV.
out, Mark.
Yeah, let's end this shit.
HR bought me a 75-inch TV for my new apartment.
So you
Oh,
can
she
watch,
loves you, man.
Thank you,
so you can
HR.
watch homemade porn, your own content.
That's what she said. You've been listening to the Drinking with Friends podcast with Dan, Ben, and Mark, season 3, episode 5. Doesn't it seem
Cinco.
like this third
This is
season? Doesn't it seem like this third season is dragging on?
Yeah. Let's go to
Didn't we
season
go
4 already.
50 plus episodes in season 2 and we're only in episode 5 of season 3? It feels like it's taking forever.
But it's March, early
You
March.
entered a time warp. Season 3, episode 5. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and follow us across all social medias, Drinking with Friends. But go to our YouTube channel, Drinking with Friends, on YouTube. And subscribe because we need them. We need subscribers. Help us. Help us. Do it.
Uncle
Do
Dan
it
says we
now.
need you.
Click the
now.
like button.
And be sure to go to anywhere you get your podcasts, as the audio from this very show will be up on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. So thanks for listening.
Don't forget the Uncle Mark Show.
Oh, this week with Uncle Mark, there should be a new episode airing any day. So by the time you listen to this one, a new episode of the Uncle Mark Show, or This Week with Uncle Mark, if I can get the title correct, will already be up on the same channel.
That wraps it up, doesn't it, boys?
Peace out, man.
Yes, thank you all for another great show, and thank you all for listening. We love you all.
Long
Long
time.
time.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye. Goodbye.